How about on my beloved YouTube? Today we are in a new video. In this case, it's the alien guys truckers from the Fantastic Force. In this case, you are already seeing that I have Black Friday offers and also this Fantastic Force showcase. So if you're interested, whatever, you have my WhatsApp right there. Okay, so folks, let's start on the road. In this case, we have Warlock that you are already seeing that every 20 seconds has an invasive approval that is under the life of our Carolina Din. So we have to be throwing a super attack before it ends. Well, that dizziness, otherwise what just happened to me will happen to you, which is dizziness. Apart from that, when the attacker has been the super attack, he suffers passive cowardice, which in this case means that our attacks have less damage. And other than this defender, 50% attack for each improvement in it. You see that with that robustness, they have a better attack, but you have already seen that with Carolina Dean, it comes out totally spectacular. So we go to the next defender, which in this case is going to be Carolina Dean. Is the same Carolina Dean we've been up against worth it? Well, we have it now, and in this case, I'm taking Satra to give it to her. In this case, the node is that the defender cannot lose more than 50% of his maximum life because they are a source of damage. And if that does not exceed, then it generates Furies, the typical Alliance War node. When the defender is knocked down, it is said to be 1 kilometers in 4 seconds. While it is active, the defender hits an impact, it hits the block, it has a 50% power bar, therefore you have to be very careful because apart from Carolina Din itself, well, it generates a lot of power as you are already seeing on the screen. So you have to be a little careful, especially here that the tip I can give you is that you have to stay away from him. Now of light, so to speak, because there it goes with following to copy. Damn, so between the power copy of the node and the power copy that Kalina Din has, the issue can be a little difficult for us. Okay, but you have already seen that with Satra thanks to that damage he has from wasps. We managed to do totally massive damage. In fact, I think Avista is the best. Satra is the best counter for this Dindefall in this node. Because otherwise, she is going to go crazy with those Fury improvements and above all, because of that reduction. Damage of 2.50%. Okay then, well, the path has started. We are now going to go. You are going to see it right now because you are already seeing that I have recorded this. We are going to the left against Tigra. Okay, friends, in this case, well, Tigra has the defender. From the saga, it's okay. Therefore, you have to bring characters who are from the saga to be able to damage it. And you are reading the nodes it has. When a super attack is made, the attacker receives a separate neutralize. We do not receive hits in the 3 hits. Therefore, it is an Alliance Wars node. And whenever the best attackers are cancelled in Thorn, they are unable to activate since it partly has the placebo improvements. So, be very careful because in this case, Tigra can bother us a little. We simply have to prevent ourselves from going against Tigra to prevent that. Give us that neutralize and in this way make it do us a lot of damage. Okay, you are also seeing that we have the power detonation, so it is also worth being very careful with that basically every 3 seconds since it suffers a passive power detonation that lasts 12 seconds and inflicts a 20% attack on the defender when this expires. So we have to be throwing super attack as quickly as possible. Do you see that Count Nefaria makes it quite easy? As I always tell you, Tigra, the simplest is for us to throw super attack 1, but well, if you take into account that 2 and can't dodge well and have a good range of movement on the map, well, it's going to turn out pretty well for you. I am already seeing how Super Attack 1 is very, very simple, apart from Condenefaria thanks to those physical vulnerabilities it has, and also, why not say it, with the regeneration it has, because it becomes quite simple, and you are seeing that with the damage it has, Condenefaria Zebra is totally under control. Okay, there we have it then, perfect. Next character on the path to the left in this case. We're going for Sauron, you see? Well, right now you are going to see that we are going to go for Sauron. And this character, every time this character has a power bar, well, it is going to leave us discouraged. Besides, no character can activate their disadvantages better during the first 30 seconds and before a chemical hit. It adds 3 common meter. An attacker ends a Como in the same attack with the Turitor since we have 100% of critical probability and thus we make our critical hits easier. And apart from that, well, it has a health and damage boost. In this case, I am doing it with Satra because it may be good for us because of the issue of when Sauron activates the unlockable, the meetings, I will say, oh, I don't know why I get out there. The truth is, I suppose that will be Victor from the past. He'll go out to change character or something, I guess, because maybe Satra wasn't good at the node. In this case, well, I don't know what I'm doing. The truth is, I'm resurrecting. The truth is, I don't know. I don't know what he's doing there, but Well, nothing happens, nothing happens. Oh, okay, I didn't incite Satra because I took her out and because I wanted to use Orsal. Okay, I already have a little bit left, of course, and I'm seeing that orange icon that is in life below Orslad and Sauron because that means that neither improvements nor disadvantages will be activated for us in the opponent, and I'm seeing that the middle hit below Orslab because we have to finish the combo in another different convent so that we can make critical hits in a way that we will manage to do a lot of damage to our Aurons. Therefore, in that until that orange clock ends, we will not be able to apply disadvantages or advantages unless they are passive, like in this case or not, which is quite good against this Sauron. And especially watch out for Sauron's lockable. Okay, that may be bothering us a lot, but I'm seeing that with the discouragement, without disorienting them that we are putting with Out Loud, it becomes quite simple. Besides, with that regeneration, that Sauron is not going to be activated because he has many disadvantages of Neurosoft. That's why Out Loud is one of the best things you can bring against this Sauron, okay? So ready, Sauron finished very well. We move forward and then we have Gentil. You are going to see him right now on the screen and I am telling you the nuts. The attacker starts with a power bar so perfect, it will help us a lot in the development of the fight. Hit the defender, it has a 40% probability of applying a cold wool and then it changes to hemorrhage because that same thing takes you to Orslaud worth every 10 seconds. The next disadvantage, activating the defender, is purified immediately. Every time this is activated, the defender obtains 75% power bar. So in this case, it is not good to have a character that generates passive disadvantages as it is in the case of Olud, so that they are passive and cannot be purified in any way. And Entel, as always, you have to be very careful with gentle and especially stops because those are active disadvantages. Well, also the magnetization ones, okay? Because that copy of power is going to be generated as you have seen right now, and be very careful with gentle because I remind you that under the gentle road right now, there is a 4, okay, 13, 12, that those are blows that when it reaches 0, they contract to a stop. So be very careful because you are already seeing that I have received a couple of taps. In this case, because the IA has not been fast, but it could have done us a lot of damage. Thank goodness it hasn't. It has done that if we couldn't have had a pretty bad time with the issue, and I am seeing that with the regenerations we put in with Oslo, it becomes quite simple, excellent, especially because of what I have told you that we want to avoid knocking in the end. So a damage due to disadvantages is going to be spectacular for us in this fight. Careful because there's only 4 taps left. You have to give some blows to maintain that degeneration. And you're already seeing how degeneration is ending literally with very good people. Alright, next fighter down. And we are going for the next one, which in this case is going to be the very powerful Hunk. In this case, since again we start with the power bar and always as an attacker, the root of the same type of basic attack since it has intensification, which will increase Galan's improvements. In addition, every 15 seconds, the defense has an improvement in the power flake, granting 25% of its maximum power. And apart from that, the defender is only a disadvantage. If passive events reduces skill accuracy, then in this case, well, if I remember correctly, here, well, I'm researching how to do it and so on. It was the first time I did it with my account. So in this case, I think I did it with Satra, if I remember correctly, or with Galan, or with the Fire. Well, the truth is that I don't even remember who I did it with. But you see, with Satra, I already said, so there I am healing. Basically, I didn't want to edit the video so that you can see that it is very important to cover yourself, and there it is very important to resurrect. In this case, we have all made ones on the only thing you have seen that with Satra, well, we have had to leave and enter earlier because I had made a mistake by being him. Win it. So at the moment we are taking out wall shots in all chatra. For me, it is essential against Galan because with it is true that one, we put that atrophy disadvantage as you are seeing. That is going to make Galan's advantages last much less. Therefore, with that, the power copy is not going to generate that 25% load. It is going to regenerate much less. As you are already seeing on the screen, you see that copy, put how it lasts much less. So instead of earning 25%, maybe earn 15, something like that. And apart from Satra, I remind you that by keeping the blow strong, we are going to be draining the character's power to generate wasps and do much more damage. Therefore, here, Satra is indispensable for Galan. As you are already seeing, by maintaining the strong blow, we get the power itself, we take away the power, and with it, we release the knock and do ultra massive damage. Well, very good. The path to the left is over. We are going for the common struggles that in this case, we have the very powerful Enchantress. And let's see what nodes this one has. Well, it's quite annoying. And in this case, well, again, we have the dethronement of power that basically you have to be using a character from the saga. And apart from that, it has the ready for all classes to petrify repression of disadvantages that will change for 15 seconds. We start with the power bar. And apart from it, has the enhancer that the attackers who fight do not get 15% attack force. And their stop has a passive stun effect that will help us, well, with Canchantress. Apart from that, he has a safeguard that prevents the defender from losing 1% of life from any source while he receives impacts or blocks on the hit and has a stun reflex. This may be bothering us. Basically, the bleeding and auto voltage will be changed if we stop it, and on top of that, it has a passive fury effect. And then you have Doom. When a character hits, the first hit will spawn a curse. In other words, this node is in Chan 3. It can be quite annoying because I am doing the same thing with Count Nefaria than in the end our friend Count, because thanks to that, so to speak, resistance, the downsides, well, it will be helping us, and apart from the regeneration that ours has. With Faria, is he going to help us against disenchants? Well, you're going to see how this is a dance, literally how we're going to try to take away all the advantages of enchants. I remember you interpreting hitting him when he has the strong blow, or he directly harasses me with a strong blow, because otherwise all the damage we have done to him, well, it will not reverberate. Therefore, stops must be avoided. As long as the timer of the degeneration, these inflators are perfect, but we have to hit him again so that that degeneration happens to him, because otherwise he will be doing us a lot of damage, so very, very careful. In this case, the Condenefaria can also come in handy for us to penetrate those physical resistances, and thus we give physical regularities to Chantress. And as always with Condenefaria, there is a rotation, a silver that 1 to remove all those energy detonators in Chantress and put it on us with the sub-attack 2 in the form of Fury, and the smart one, if he has the truth of Enchantress, is a quite complicated character. The only thing you are already seeing is you have to do it quite quickly, and it is a fight. Well, I'm telling you, slow. It's okay then with Nefaria sometimes quite 6, thanks to the fact that we are regenerating and so on. And above all, very important to remove the Ancient Spells 3 before his pre-attack 1 arrives, because I already tell you that he can make us an explosion, and we are going to see the stars of how he is going to burst us, so nothing. You are already seeing how we are generating that accumulation power, that regeneration for ourselves. With Super Attack 1 and Super Attack 2, at least it doesn't cast spells, but it's very difficult to dodge, so you're going to have to be blocking. So, as I tell you, we must avoid stopping at all costs against this Enchantress, because if it is not going to give us bleeding or high voltage disadvantages, and on top of that, it is going to generate fury in the character, then that is not for us. Suits! Because if in itself, Enchantress is a complicated character to play, then imagine yourself with all that damage of Fury, and apart from those disadvantages that, in this case of Hemorrhage, does not affect us but takes away our energy. But it was the question that did affect us and could be bothering us a lot. So you are already seeing that we have to remove the spells again, intercepting, hitting him when he has the blockage, and also throwing the character with a strong blow. That is the last one we have left. I think a super that also works. Yes, indeed, with super that also works. And once you take away all the blessings he has, Enchantress, those magic spells, well, you can now hurt him. Everything is also very important. As I say again, the generation timer has to always be in Enchantress just when it is going to end, because we have to give a blow so that it goes directly to our Enchantress. Okay, so well, we arrive at the boss, who in this case they have given us a penny parket, and as always they give us a selection node to be able to select the character we want. There I was reading the characters, the nodes that basically, well, apart from having power detection, therefore you have to, with the character who is from the saga of the previous saga, I remind you, and then the attacker takes no damage in his first 3 hits. The attacker starts the fight with the power bar. If the defender from the scary label, then every 3 seconds to the defragmentation of power. The defender, without any more stun effects, the defender's combat power rate increases, and apart from that, when the defender is hit, he gains a passive physical or energy resistance effect of 4% and will change. In this case, you are already seeing that I am selecting Galan. Let us remember that he is half immune to burning powers. Therefore, against Penny Parker, it is going to work very, very well for us. So it is a fairly simple fight with Galan. In this case, he could also be using Vox, which happens to be Galan for me. more important contrast to Penny Parker thanks to the damage we're going to be doing to her. And apart from that, as Penny Parker gets better, we as a hero are also going to be getting much stronger and stronger. And apart from that time, since that declaration of power is not acting on us, and apart because those reduction and burning powers, well, it is not acting on us either. So Alan is a character who is key to literally winning this Penny Parker. Well, very well. We continue moving forward. We continue giving them, we continue times on automatic blocks. I would be doing it there. You can already see that he makes us indestructible because he has hit us. That's the node we have as an attacker, as if we had the War Enhancer. And that's it. Hard blow. I remind you that Galar must be generating all those improvements with a vile medium blow, throwing a strong blow to generate that cosmic seed, and throwing super attack 2 with more and more charges to do that terrible damage that you are going to see 339,000 a year. That's outrageous, folks. What a barbarity. So well, we keep sticking calmly. We have to do the medium weak blow again to generate our cosmic charges and throw the strong blow when it leaves us. I remind you that it has automatic blocks, it has those burning powers. Therefore, I already tell you that Galan for me is the best, and if not, well, with Vox, thanks to the Super AQ1 with this block destruction, it can serve us quite well against the Penny Parker. Hard blow, you are already seeing that we already have 600 charges. In this case, Ilya, since you have set the automatic block, you have to have enough reflexes to block. And let's say Super Attack 1, let's remember that Karan is unblockable. Super Attack 1 and Super Attack 2 are worth, right 1? Well, it also helps us to obtain those Fury improvements, thus having a little more damage than which Penny Parker also tries to burn our power. Well, we are also generating more Cosmic charges. So, well, Super Attack 1 again with 530 charges, and I think it would fall perfectly. Galan friends, for me the best code to give this boss in this case, since we have already achieved the first pass. You are going to see the prices we have in this case, since they are basic grade 7, unique stones out of 10 from the previous saga, the 5 that come out minion, and also those 3 experiences. Okay, there he is making the capture to upload the little icon that you are seeing above so that he can, well, promote me, and we are going directly to the path to the right. We start again with Warlock, which I do again with. I remind you that we have to be revealing the truth a little more, so maybe it's not at all difficult for anyone. With Carolina Din, you are already seeing how it turns out spectacular, because on top of that, we pulverize that advantage that made him strong, and with that, it is that we do damage to him. But look how brutal this Carolina Din is, that of course I'm going. I understand that this fight is repeated, since Carolina Din has to take all the stones and clairs of 7 of the saga that we win, since this character is top 10. Prestige 7. So you already know where I am going to include, well, those stones and women. Again, we have Carolina Din's shared fight, that in this case we changed the fighter that we are going to use because we have changed the team. You are already seeing it then. In this case, well, we are going to meet our dearest friend, or Koi friends. He is a piece of beast. And I remind you that in the fight, we have to stay away from the field that has caroling from the field so that it generates a copy of power for us, and listen to the one that becomes Super Tertilito. Be very careful with those detours that it has, and when you are in the field, then get out, because otherwise it will generate caroling accumulation of power. In this case, it also seems that one is a little complicated to avoid. The truth is that I was lucky to avoid that attack. So I also think I have to tell you that we have to prevent Carolina Lynn from looking at her in some way, whether by super attack, whether by strong blows or something like that, because there she will generate that better advance then. But you have already seen that Okoyed works like a butter killer. Does he butter the characters? We are going against it, yes. We are starting the right path. We are going against the very powerful bite that in this case, since again we have the declaration of power, therefore we must use characters that are from the previous saga. In this case, we are going to use, I think if I remember correctly, our powerful leader. He has the ebb and flow of the one above. We have to be knocking him down either with a strong blow or with a super attack to remove that protection. And when the defender thinks he gets the first combo attack, he's immune to the stun, therefore we have to make a double stop. But as I always say on board, you should never make stops, because if it's not going to give you that, I'll say it, that invasive, non-invasive, no, as I would say, that stupor that retro stuns you, and on top of that, it puts spiritual brambles in you. So be very careful. So in this case, the leader for me, I think, is the best that can be given to him, since he has the spectrum, he has the withering. Then I copy the power of bite, because apart from the fact that we can take it away by simply tapping it, we keep that move safe. I see that the beginning is the only complicated thing, but when we can have Mordor now has power, it is quite simple to carry it. I'm already seeing that we can do a lot of damage as long as we have the super attack and so on, and we already have to avoid the issue of stops. Be careful because he did hit us there, he did us a little damage, but literally with the attack soup one, we hit him again, and with that, we took off his cool protection. And we hurt him again, apart from that withering, since we control the accumulation of such brutal power that he has on board. And in this way, the fight is made very, very simple. The truth is, it simply starts. It is the only thing that can be bothering us a little, and the truth would be there. So we are already creating our fury with the leader, and we are going to do much more years there. You are seeing it through the disadvantages of withering from the spectrum, because let's remember that the leader is a character that, to be honest, I didn't really like, but I already see it more as a use than anything else. The massive year is not that strong, but as a use in these fights. To remove the copy of power or regeneration from the characters, it is spectacular, and almost, well, bite, we have him almost fallen, almost dead at 5, 104, 103, and that's it. Oh no, I thought so, but he was dying, so good. We have the next one, the next little path, the next character, we have the Maker that, again, we have to do with the character from the Fantastic Force saga. Because again, we have the detonation of power. Apart again, it has the ebb and flow of knockdown. Sorry, yes, ebb and flow of knockdown like Mordo had it. In addition, every 1 second, the defender gains 25% precision passive effect, and the defender is unstoppable during strong attacks. This cannot be prevented by reducing skills, so be very careful to maintain that strong blow from Mikkel, because yes or no, he will be able to go unstoppable. And I remind you that you have to be pulling the character, either in case it seems like access to strong blows, to remove that protection and thus do that damage to him. Okay, because if not, well, we'll do him a lot less damage. Are you already watching on screen once we throw it away? Well, look at the damage we do to her through Carolina Link with those massive actions, those vulnerabilities and everything. As I always tell the Maker, force him to throw Super Attack 1, which is the easiest to avoid, because if not Super Attack 2, not Super Attack 2. I don't remember Super Attack 1 right now. I think it did add crumbs. So I think the easiest one, the crumbs on Attack 2, but you have already seen that against the On and Nadine, we again found the Maker one, which is quite simple. Let's go to the next one. In this case, we have Ring 3, another character who was quite prominent as a defender in past Alliance Wars. So we start with the power bar. The defender begins the fight with the following disadvantages, and each of which lasts 15 seconds. Petrify, suppression, and disadvantage suction defenders cannot heal above normal health amounts. There you are already seeing how it is, and very important, well, generate the enhancer so that in this way you make it much simpler and avoid spending separately. You are already seeing below the life of the leader who he is. What we are doing, we have those advantages, those green, yellow, and orange icons. I remind you that those are the weak medium attacks and strong blows that we have to have, that they will run out as we use those combos, and that to reuse them, and so that they do not reach 0, we have to throw a super attack. That is literally the key to being able to do the fight well. Because if not, they are going to be taking away our power. You have already seen that he literally counts as a leader thanks to that regeneration that Ring Trap has. Since we are taking it away for the same leader, I already tell you what it is. Of massive use, next character, friends, we have Solbart. If we remember the read to which he belonged in this saga, so to speak, then the nodes he has is that we are invulnerable. The first 3 hits received every 6 seconds, attacker suffers a rooting disadvantage with 3 seconds. This timer pauses while his attacker is rooted and is carried towards the attacker, towards obscurity, seeing under Garan's life, which for me is the best character to give Solvach. But apart from that, the defender obtains combat favor rate, and then when he has less than 2 power bars and when they have more than 3, it is reduced by 80%. Therefore, this forces the Solvax games here. We have Super Attack 1 or Super Attack 2. In addition to when the attacker blocks the annoying Sablo attack, it is reduced by 6%. So well, you are already seeing what a somewhat heavy fight is like, because let's remember that Solbarsh generates a lot of power. So here you are dodging all the time, and apart from that we have a rooting disadvantage. In this case, you have seen that it has hit us a little and therefore almost leaves us with that massive disadvantage of the Cosmos Seed. What can I tell you? Because this mission on offer, you have my WhatsApp in which you are seeing everything during the video. So I recommend that you stop by because you are already seeing that I do it without any expense. So if you need it for whatever reason, you have my WhatsApp in the separate description. I also have the entire catalog at a 50% discount all this November for what it is due. It was an initiative that I am doing on Soric Black Friday. So, well, no, we have the software that is not difficult at all. The only thing, are you going to be getting attack after attack? And that silver, which too is the easiest to avoid. As you are already seeing, it also has the node that you are seeing with a little red thing under Galan, which in this case, every time we block 10 hits, well, at 110, it will be a local and it will be hitting us. The same thing happens when we get to now, in this case, 20. We are rooted. So in this case, the only thing we can do is for that routing to pass and quickly, well, throw the Super Take 2 before the loads are finished. But in this case, we have not given time because we do not have the Super Take 2. Then we have to be suffering and regenerating the loads. Well, in this case, the routing, well, I already tell you that it can be bothering us a lot at this node is seeing how when passing the 2 bars of putting solvars, well, it is no longer generating the third. Would this node be crazy? But hey, you see it, you're already seeing it quite simple, friends. Silver than 2, which is underfoot than 1, which is the easiest one. Well, it's easy to avoid, but I prefer underfoot than 2 to avoid it. And in this case, well, we are there. We all have to be quick so that that cosmic seed doesn't end up. But well, no. And thank goodness he has little life left. And so we have managed to kill Solva. We are already leaving one against our beloved Mega 3 enter again, which in this case, since we do not take our very powerful Count Lefaria. And you are already seeing that I am going to be doing it because with Okoye, basically with Okoye, we are going to be killing her as if she were butter. I remember that you have to take away your blessings in your conjunctions or whatever it is called, what you have in Chandels, which is basically in purple. You have to be throwing it in any way, whether as proposed by your pre-attack, and then you have the others that you have to be interpreting because he has a strong blow to us and we can hit him in the middle. As you're going to see right now, I think that's what she's trying to do, but she doesn't want to go out. In this case, Cody is already seeing how it is being much faster than with our friend with beneficiary. In the end, it is 1 year more massive and also very careful as I tell you with degeneration with that red Icolite, that economic one that right now is under the fight Enchantress. But when it's over, it happens to us to happen again. Enchantress, we have to tap Chantress. I have seen that Stein Enchantress fight has turned out much easier with Koye than with our friend with Benefar. Now you do folks, we're going to get the boss with Penny Parker again. We're going to the selection node. And so if we're going to go for the Parker movie, Penny Parker friends, there we have it. We healed again with Galan because I already said if Galan, we already had him because we were changing the node. Alright, well, it's the same fight again as before. Just remember that you have immunity to stun. Apart from that, he has the detonation of power and he is gaining physical resistance and energy resistance. Always with Galan. Medium blow in the middle we are generating. And our cosmic seeds, in this case, when we give it a comparison and it has energy, well, we are also generating. So be very careful. The only thing that must be taken into account is the automatic blocking, which in this case is being a hero. Since we are immune to the most powerful and we can fight in a very way. As you are already seeing, it is simply a little heavy with Galan because you have to be generating the Cosmic Seed improvements for medium weak and medium weights. And when we have enough strong blows, with that we already have the Cosmic Seed. We have pre-attackers and see how we work out quite a bit in Penny Parker's life once it's over again. That's why we have to once again do the rotation that it asks us to do because the games are in a weak medium, a gallant medium, and generate therefore the improvements of the Cosmic Seed, the planets, okay? And when we already have one more number, it is quite long. Well, Super Attack 2. In this case, I use Super Attack 1 to generate the Fury improvements and thus that Cosmic Seed. When we have it, let's do even more damage for 40 seeds, a custom that we have right now. I don't know how long I'm going to activate it. I think Super Attack 1, Super Attack 2, I don't know because my Fury improvements are already running out. You are going to see it right now. There we have it. 5205006 I think it has almost arrived. We are going to arrive quickly thanks to the A. Well, what is more power is from Benefal than when we are staying. The Purias have already gone. So I don't know why he has his account. Well, maybe I got scratched at that time. So nothing, we threw super attack. I think we are going to have super attack. Well, no, super attack 1. And I think we should go right now. We have done a lot of damage. I haven't seen it totally because it has been put behind us a few little words that Penny Parker had. But we almost killed her. Hey friends, you have already seen her. So well, with Galan, you see that this Penny Parker is very easy. And if not, well, I have used box in others. So nothing, 550 and 45. So if we die and that's it, then we claim all the prizes. If I remind you again that I have this mission, you are already seeing that I do it without any expense. So friends, I hope you liked the video. Where are you? And see you in other videos. Bye-bye. And before finishing the video, thank you very much to all of you who are members of the channel. AJP Alliance Ramirez and Oscar Salmeron Poser VIP Sorry is from November 2025. To become a member, you have it in the video description. Thank you so much for everything.